Hi, and I'm going to be doing, welcome to my channel. Welcome to the Afrocentric Woman. I'm going to be doing commentary on Jenni Rivera, Mariposa del Barrio, la serie. This is episode 68, Rosie Testigo Clave. Okay, so the episode starts out with Juan and Jenni at I think he took her to court for alimony, or maybe she took him to court to review the alimony situation. And she's still arguing back and forth with him, unfortunately, very upset that she has to pay this man alimony. And I just feel like it's a waste of feminine energy. From my perspective, I think at some point in time we have to learn people's patterns and we have to learn their motivations. We have to learn what to expect of them. I mean, it's just when you're dealing with a vividor, you're dealing with un mantenido, you're dealing with someone who is a narcissistic parasite. He was a parasite on his family before he met you. You rescued him from his mother's couch. So this is just who he is. And so arguing with him about being upset about having to pay the alimony is a waste of feminine energy. It is a waste of it's a waste of time. It's futile. The best thing to do would be to invest your energy into figuring out how to maneuver your money around in a way that will minimize your exposure to being depleted by the vividor. And I think that, if Jenni would have, um, I think if Jenni would have pulled back from the fighting and the peleas, I think it would have provided less narcissistic supply to Juan. And I think that it would have given her an opportunity to really kind of strategize how to maneuver her resources in a way that was going to be protective for her children. Maybe talking about getting some of that money in a trust as opposed to paying it to alimony for those children that they shared together, and petitioning the court for an arrangement similar to that. I think also petitioning the court to ask who knows? I would love to look at those court documents to see exactly what she was trying to fight for. I think California is pretty strict with alimony though. But, did Juan actually have any documentation that Jenni asked him to leave his job to work for her? And what can he demonstrate that he actually invested into the marriage, into her career, that he is with narcissists, you never really know if they believe what they say or if they know what they're saying is bullshit. Because he keeps just saying, oh, I helped you with your career. That's the reason why you owe me. I helped you with your career, so you owe me. That's just he sounds like a broken record at this point. And who knows if he really even believed that, or if he was just deluding himself, or if he was just, whatever, I don't give a shit. Let me just keep saying this because it's going to allow me to continue to get a monthly check from her. Narcissists do feel entitled to whatever they want, really. So I do think he feels entitled to Jenni's money. He felt like, hey, I hit the jackpot. I have 2 kids with you. You have to deal with me forever. You have to give me money. And he just doesn't have the desire to work or care for himself. That's unfortunate. But Jenni, has so much masculine energy that it would be very difficult for her to attract anybody who is a manly provider, because of that masculine energy that she has. So anyway, that's what the scene opens. It starts with her arguing with Juan after she has to continue to pay him alimony. Okay, so in the next scene on this episode, Rosie comes to talk to Chiquis about, she's upset about the fact that Trino, the narcissistic, sociopathic pedophile and rapist, who has a bond set for $1 million. And she's upset about this, and she actually had been doing some research on the lawyer who is representing Trino, and she knows that he has had success at getting pedophilic rapists and sociopaths off, or getting them a reduced sentence. She's very concerned about this because she is in law school, or was recently in law school. So she does have an understanding of the law and has done research, and also found out that the state prosecutor doesn't have a lot of experience trying um, incest, child abuse, pedophilia, and child rape. He doesn't have a lot of experience with trying those types of cases. So she is legitimately and rightfully so concerned. She's coming to talk to Chickies because, she's really looking for Jenni, but Jenni's not there and Chickies is there. And Chickies is expressing to her how difficult this is for her. And I can understand that. I just, I feel compassion for all these children. They're not children anymore. Well, at this time, in this episode, Jackie is still a child, Chickies is very young, and Rosie is a young adult. But for those girls, I have a lot of compassion for them, and I just think that when you're dealing with incest, oh my goodness, it's just those girls just need so much support. I don't understand why they're not in counseling. Like, as this is progressing, I'm trying to understand. This is just really insane, but I don't know when is the right time to talk about this, because there's a parallel within the Mexican American community and the African American community with a lack of mental health, accessing mental health services. These girls, you know, these girls were victims of incest and rape, and why aren't they in counseling? So Chickies is dealing with all of this on her own, and she's doing the best that she can. Rosie, which we need to just talk about in a whole nother episode, is doing the best that she can and navigating all of this. And yes, the family is, estamos unidos, estamos aquí para apoyarnos. Yeah, they keep saying that over and over again, but sir, you do not have the skills to help her. Like, yeah, you can, support the child. You can do little things, and it's great that you came to court, and it's great that you came to church, and it's great that you are around, but are you really helping the girls? Like, why are they not in counseling? Why are they not getting services? It's baffling that the only thing that's really being offered to these girls is prayer. And yeah, let's keep watching. Something interesting in the same scene with Chiquis talking to Rosie. She feels culpable. She feels responsible for her father's incarceration. And I don't know. We'll see how things progress with the series, because right now this is what, episode 68. I want to say there's like 90 episodes. And I don't know whatever happened. Like, I don't know if Chiquis wrote a book. I'll see if Chiquis wrote a book, or if Chiquis talked more about her experience. But I would guess that Chiquis is probably very codependent. She feels responsible for her father's actions. She sacrificed herself to protect Jackie on multiple occasions. And that type of self-sacrificing yourself for the benefit of others to your own detriment, and feeling responsible for other people's behaviors, actions, and feelings are all signs and symptoms of codependency. So I just don't know how she has possibly struggled with that codependency after this situation. But to be put in a situation, an incestuous rape situation with her sociopathic father, I just think that would be difficult. It is. It's difficult for any child. It's unbearable. No child should be subjected to a sociopathic parent who is a pedophilic rapist. And to know that Chickies has experienced this and is not getting any real quality support, really. Just, we're here to apoyarlo. Okay, what does that mean? Like, anyway, it's beautiful to see that although Chickies is conflicted about her feelings about her father, and the idea of like not having a father, or the idea of feeling this guilt. I'm not saying the guilt is right or wrong. It just is what it is, and just grappling with those feelings, not having the proper services to process what's going on. It feels good to me to see that she's still able to have a relationship with Rosie. Rosie is less removed because Rosie is not related to Trino, right? So Rosie is able to see him as the abusive monster that he is, without those conflicting feelings of, but it's my relative. So yeah. The next scene is Jackie coming to talk to her brother, Mikey. about trying to convince him to have less harsh feelings about her father. Mikey is, upset. He's upset. He's embarrassed. He was named after his father. He changed his name to Max when he was very small and then changed his name to Mikey. And he doesn't want to be associated with his father. He doesn't want his name. He doesn't want to acknowledge that is his father and that is his right. And rightfully so, thank goodness. Jenni is honoring that. Jenni has honored his name changes. Jenni has honored his his desire not to be associated with his father. Jenni said, that's fine. You only have your mother. I'll be everything. You don't have to associate yourself with him, which I think is a very appropriate response, especially considering how limited that Jenni is in other areas. I'm glad that she got that part right. However, Jackie, bless her heart, she's younger. She was less exposed to the psychopathic and sociopathic destruction of her father. She didn't view as much as Chickies and Mikey did. And she is an understanding, she's more conflicted. She's more conflicted about not having a father. And I think that some of the instability that Jenni has introduced into the household with Juan and with Fernie is also, I think, exacerbating that. Like a father's here, now he's gone, and the father's here, now he's gone. And I just think feeling that abandonment, it's probably really difficult on Jackie at this point. And, and I think, having those codependent tendencies, you don't want to just allow feel more connected to your father. Understandable. So all of those things are happening, and Mikey ends up just kind of storming away because Jackie doesn't see his point of view, and she doesn't see his. So in this next scene, Fernie is on the phone with Jenni, providing some emotional support to her regarding the two trials that she has. The one that she had to go to for I think they were just reading off the charges for Trino, and accepting his plea. And then the other one was for the alimony that Juan is asking for more money from Jenni. And then Fernie starts talking to his mom, and his mom is, of course, encouraging them to stay in touch. And Fernie is just acknowledging that, yeah, we'll love each other, but it's just sad that we can't be together. And in that sense, Fernie is a little bit. He's more mature than Jenni in that area, because regardless, it's just not going to work. I mean, her masculine energy and his skill set and talent set is just mismatched all the way around, and that role reversal relationship will not work. And Jenni, bless her heart, with her temper and her masculine energy, it's just not going to work, and Fernie knows that. And so the mom is listening and agreeing. Okay, so in this next scene, Jenni is talking with Rosie, and she's expressing how challenging it's been to deal with the alimony trial with Juan, and her feelings about seeing Trino in the orange jumpsuit at the trial, and feeling overwhelmed with managing her career and getting through everything and trying to be there for everyone, and basically asking Rosie to help her. An interesting little tidbit. She says, do you remember this ring? Rosie says, yeah, I remember this ring. You bought it with your first paycheck to say that no man has to do anything for you. And I just thought to myself, that just seems like a real energy blocker. It's an energy blocker. So you purchased this piece of jewelry with the idea that I don't need a man for anything. And so you have a vividor, you attract a vividor, Juan, who can't do anything for you. You attract Fernie, a young, underdeveloped guy with no real skills and experience, who can't do anything for you. You've attracted Trino in the past, who was a psychopathic, sociopathic, pedophilic rapist. And you just have this piece of jewelry that you purchased with the energy of, I don't need a provider man. Although, a lo contrario, you could have said, hey, I'm purchasing this ring because I'm beautiful and I would like to have something beautiful. And I know that one day a man is going to be able to buy me this and something much more. You see the difference? You see the difference? Because obviously you're pursuing Fernie, and he's not really wanting to be with you anymore. You want to be with a relationship. You want a man. You do want a man. You don't want to be alone. but the energy that you've put out into the world have attracted the wrong type of man. So ultimately, Jenni gives this ring to Rosie as the scene is ending, and it's very beautiful because it seems like the energy has shifted around the ring. Now the ring is more of a good luck, a source of sisterly strength, as Rosie is going to be journeying through this trial of really confronting her rapist. So it's great that the energy of this piece of jewelry has changed, and it's also really beautiful to see this relationship between Rosie and Jenni. Okay, so in this next scene, Trino's family, the mother, the matriarch, Trino's mother, his sisters, and their husbands are talking about how they're going to come up with this $100,000 to um they're gonna figure out how to come up with this $100,000 for his bail. His bail set is at $1 million, so they need to come up with at least 10%. And the mother says that she's gonna deplete her savings, and then the brother-in-law to the codependent sister says, "Oh, we'll take on a mortgage on our house." And then the most toxic sister is like, "Hey, we don't really have anything." And her husband is like, if we put up our savings and he runs off, we're going to be held against it. And then toxic mom basically whips her in order saying, "Well, if Trino stays in jail, then I will die. Do you want to kill me?" Just, being a toxic, manipulative mother. In the next scene, Jenni's manager and booking agent are just talking about her schedule and her current album that's out, that's really popular, and talking about managing, trying to schedule concerts that may overlap with some of the Trino's trials, hearing dates, and just kind of talking through that. Not too much there. Okay, so in this next scene, Rosie's talking to her parents, and she's talking about the ring that Jenni gave her, and they're calling it the ring of victory, and talking about their concern that Trino might be, released for bail, and possible things that they could do to perhaps prevent that. And, her parents are talking, her mom specifically is talking to her about, staying on the right path, considering that she had struggled with drugs and alcohol, and they've attributed everything to the church. Yeah, so just, yeah, telling her she needs willpower without, again, no resources. No resources, no support system. I mean, the family support system, but like no professional services, unfortunately. So I'm just praying that as this unfolds, that Rosie does stay on the good camino. I think, yeah. So, but I'm sure it would have been a little easier if she had more comprehensive support system. In this next scene, Jackie and Chiquis are talking about how difficult it is for them to continue with the trial. It was really emotionally challenging for them to go and see their father locked up, feeling very responsible for his actions, and also having the idea that, oh, he could just repent and forgive himself, or, feel bad and ask for forgiveness. And, they owe it to God that they have to forgive him for, being a sociopathic, pedophilic rapist. And, it's unfortunate. I think that both of their ideas of what love is very warped because of um, the environment that they grew up in and their exposure to men, and the manipulation, the psychological manipulation of their psychopathic father, and the gaslighting that he did with them from a very young age, his narcissistic behavior. I think these girls have a very warped sense of what is love. They don't know what love is. I think that they do know that the feeling of abandonment is strong, and it's painful. And I don't think that they know how to perhaps remedy that, or to come to some sort of relief from the pain of abandonment. And so in their minds, they've just naturally concluded that if we could just stop this trial, if we could just have our dad back, we'll feel better. Not knowing that he is so toxic that, trust me, you don't want that. You don't want that in your life. That is not love. But they don't know. They don't know. Their mama don't even know. Not right now. So, have compassion for these girls as they challenge, and I get it. And I just feel like I think until their testimony is needed, I mean, this is how I would have done it if these were my girls. I think that until their testimony was needed, I would not have made them go to the trial because it's just not necessary. I think Rosie wanted to go. Rosie could go, but I don't think I would have made the girls go because it's just they didn't need to be there. And another thing is there's no way that I would have let my girls go through this alone. I would have had a victim advocate with my girls, and I would have had proper extensive psychological care, and I would have put a lot of things in place to support them and get them ready for that trial. I would have started those services long before the trial began, while they were looking for them. A side note, I was just thinking the other day, like okay, Jenni hired a private investigator to investigate Juan's infidelities, and Doña Rosa hired a private investigator to investigate Don Pedro's infidelities. Why didn't they a long time ago hire a private investigator to find Trino? Like, help me understand. I'm pretty sure if they would have done that, if they would have been as interested in finding Trino as they were in finding out if their man was cheating on them, I think they would have found Trino a lot sooner. But that I digress. In the next scene, Gustavo, Juanelo, and Don Pedro are in the Cintas Aquarios, and they're talking about what's going on with Jenni's career and where some of her records are charting, and basically saying, that they're going to be there and the family is united, and if you mess with one, you mess with all. And I think that's beautiful. And I guess I just think they're doing the best that they can. I just wish that they just knew more. I mean, I just wish they knew more about how to support other than just saying, I'm here. I wish that, but nonetheless, moving on. Okay, so in this next scene, Rosie is talking to Doña Rosa about what's going on with the trial, and the fact that Trino's family is calling a lot of the media attention because they want to kind of spin it in a way that the lawyers one of his defenses of Trino is that Jenni is using this trial to garner attention for her career, her music career. And so they are the ones who are calling the paparazzi and the media to come to the trials and to do interviews, because that is one of their defenses. And Rosie was telling La Doña that Jenni asked the court to ban cameras inside the courtroom, and that the judge granted her a petition for that. And so they were just, celebrating that. Her mother was saying, it's about to get difficult, and, just kind of preparing her that the trial is going to get difficult. Okay, so in this next scene, Jenni and Juan are finishing their trial in alimony, and it seems that things went in Jenni's favor. Juan Lopez is the one who tried to take her back to court for even more money, which probably pissed the judge off in retrospect. It probably pissed the judge off to see what was happening. And so not only was he not going to get more money, actually the judge backdated that he'd have to pay 3 years in the arrears for money that he received from Jenni. And he would have to pay for Jenni's attorney fees as well. So for having to make her come back down to the court. So, yay for the judge. And it looks like it's over $100,000 that now Juan owes Jenni. And he's trying to beg her that, please don't make me pay this money. And Jenni says, well, I don't have the energy to have this conversation with you. I don't want to do this, which should have been it. But it seems that Jenni was like, well, maybe tonight we can talk about it, which is like, and see how we're going to handle it, which is really sad. I think that you should give that same energy that Juan that did for you. He didn't care if you were eating or if you weren't eating, or he didn't care if you had a concert booked, or he didn't care if you had financial problems. He didn't care about any of that. He just wanted his money. And so now that the tables have turned, now you're saying, oh, we can sit down and talk about it. He didn't want to sit down and talk to you about your alimony. He didn't want to sit down and talk to you about lowering the amount of money that you had to pay him. He never negotiated down. He never accepted less. But now you're going to sit down with him and give him accommodation. Why? It doesn't make any sense. You're responsible for your children. You married a vividor. You married a useless bum. So you have to take care of your children financially regardless. So if he owes $100,000, what's it to you? He's not going to work anyway. He's not going to become anything anyway. So why should you have to trouble yourself and leave the door open to talk to him in the evening about anything? I would just like, hey, let everything go through the court. You owe the money, you owe the money. Like you said, like, dice la ley, la ley, la ley, the law, the law, the law. So let him follow the law. Let him follow what the judge says. Since you've been faithfully making these alimony payments every single month, why can't he now respect the law now that things are in his favor? You can't have it both ways. You want to respect the law, then respect the law. So it's just unfortunate that Jenni left the door open to talk with Juan about this money that he owes. We'll see how things go as the episode progresses. The next scene, Jenni, as she's finished with the alimony trial, goes to meet Rosie as they get ready to enter into, I guess, the next hearing or the next appearance of whatever's going on with the Trino trial. And the Trino's toxic family comes by, the toxic mom and her little clone, the sister, and they attempt to start broncas and arguments with Jenni. And Jenni, almost fell for the bait, but luckily Rosie was there to kind of recenter her that, they're ratchet, seriously. Like, they're ratchet. They don't have anything to lose. They're very delusional. They're toxic. Keep in mind, that bitch raised Trino. That toxic hoe, that toxic bitch raised that psychopathic child rapist and has also abused the children via neglect and via, making a difference between them, that they felt it. They know, those children know that their abuela doesn't love them. They know that those children know that the abuela doesn't even like them because she doesn't like Jenni, because Jenni is not as toxic as they are and is not manipulatable like the Maria is. Maria, bless her heart, is just like a dumb blonde. She's just not blonde. She's just like, ella está, pero nadie está aquí. No, nadie está ahí. She's there, but she's not there. So they love her because she's manipulable, she's malleable, she don't have shit in her head. And obviously Jenni, with the good and the bad and her flaws and her flaws and her traits, her healthy traits, simply manipulable, no, that's not her. And so that doesn't fit into that toxic family dynamic. So anyway, they go into the room, and now we're going to move into the next scene. In the next scene, we're at the mom of Fernie. I forgot her name, but we're at that Doña's house, and Fernie's coming in there to get something from the kitchen, and her mom's like, "Why are you here at this time?" And he's like, "Oh, I left my job. I didn't." She says, "Why?" And he says that, "Oh, they weren't paying me enough." Oh, who knows the real reason? We don't know right now as the scene is progressing. But yeah, Fernie, bless his heart, he can't keep a job. He doesn't have any skills. He doesn't, not any real marketable skills. He doesn't have the attention span to keep with any one thing long enough for it to pop off. So before anything can really pop off, he's already left the situation and on to the next. And so then the Doña calls Fernie's brother, her other son, to ask him to come and help. And now we're moving on to the next scene. Next scene, Brenda comes to talk to Juanelo, to let Juanelo know that Jenni won the case, the alimony case with Juan Lopez. And they're getting ready to go to meet the rest of the family for the trial of Trino. And so Juanelo is very excited because he was the most outraged and disgusted by Juan Lopez's vividor tendencies and getting this alimony from Jenni to mantener su vida con otra mujer, like a whole nother woman, and so yeah, so that's what's going on. And so Juanelo is happy about that, and still though on guard about going to transition over to the trial of Trino. Okay, so in the next scene, they're getting ready to go into court, and it seems like Rosie is going to be expected to give testimony as to what Trino did to her when she was a little girl. And she's really rightfully so upset and, going through all the emotions that one can imagine that you would go through with having to testify in court in front of the perpetrator, and the family. And it's just, challenging. And then Lupillo supporting her and saying that he can handle it. Whatever is said, well, he can handle, and that she should just tell the truth. And Jenni affirming that as well. Okay, so we're in the trial, and they have opening statements from the prosecutor and from the defender. What is it? The defending attorney, the defense. I guess you call it the defense, right? And I think, the series wants to show us that the prosecutor is really ill prepared, and that the defense was a lot much more savvy. And that definitely came across in the scene that the prosecutor didn't really do the most emotional movement. I think that the defense went for the emotions of the of the jury, and also I think it looked like the majority of the jury was Mexican American. So this whole limpiar su honor, clean up your honor, which is important in that community. And so I think that he's trying to just hit on those emotional heartstrings, whereas the prosecutor was like, yeah, he's guilty, here's our evidence. And it was like, I think that's good, and I think you really need both. You do need to touch their emotions. Why didn't you talk about, I don't know, like if it was your child, and like children deserve to be protected, and I don't know, just try to kind of hit on the emotions. And also I think that talking about the character of Trino as far as being abusive, I don't know legally if that would have been helpful, but I do think that bringing up his the fact that he does have domestic violence, he is a violent person, he is a perpetrator, I think that might have helped. I don't know. I don't have enough legal background to know, but it's just something that's crossing my mind. Like, why didn't that come up? And I wonder, when they were writing the series, did they actually get the court records and do verbatim what the prosecutor said? That would be interesting to know if they did that. But if they did, then yeah, the defense unfortunately made a stronger opening opening remarks. In the next episode, Juan Lopez is on the phone with his mom. He's at Jenni's house waiting on her to come back home from the trial so that he could talk about not wanting to pay the alimony back. He doesn't want to cumplir con what the corte said, and so he's waiting on her to come back, and he's with his the daughter that they share together, and I guess the son is there too. And he's talking on the phone to his mom about, oh, I can't afford this, I don't have the money. And so the little girl tells him, oh, okay, sit right here and wait. She goes to her room, gets her piggy bank, and brings it out and gives it to her dad. Says, here, you can use this money, now you don't have to argue with mom. And he's like, oh, but what I have to pay your mom is so much more than this. And she says, well, just ask for forgiveness. And he says, you know what, maybe I will. And it's so sad. Like, he's such a vividor. He didn't even tell his daughter, like, daughter, it's not your responsibility to take care of my debts. Like, he shouldn't have even been arguing. He shouldn't have even been complaining about the money in earshot of her, because it's none of her business as a child. And it's sad that he's such a vividor that he doesn't even have it in him to teach her the right way. That, although he's trash, that she shouldn't go out and find a guy like him. He's so delusional, such a man child. Okay, in the next scene, we're listening to Rosie's testimony. And Rosie is explaining at least two incidences that she was sexually abused by Trino. And I don't know. I guess it's just a difficult subject. So I don't know if it was supposed to be handled more compassionately. I think possibly, and I don't know. I know this is a show, but I think normally after such difficult testimony, I think they usually take a recess to allow the victim to have a break. But they just went right into the cross-examination from the defense, and he's being an ass. Let's keep watching. The judge asked for both of the attorneys to come up there. I'm assuming she's talking to them about the sensitive nature of this case and that they need to have more decorum. I'm assuming. We don't really hear what she's saying to them. But during that time that she's talking to the attorneys, Chiquis is telling Jenni that she doesn't feel like she can testify. She feels really conflicted, and she doesn't feel like she's as strong as Rosie. And Jenni is really strongly encouraging her to have strength and to do it. And she, this is just the next step and push through. It's right, probably up on, it's probably bumping up on being too aggressive, but not quite there. Just right at that borderline to just, let's keep watching and see what happens. Okay, so the episode is over. So we don't know yet. We'll have to wait until episode 69. La Defensa de Trino. Episode 68 wrapped up with La Chiquis coming to the stand, and she's about to give her testimony. So we'll see how it goes. Tell me what you think about this commentary for Jenni Rivera, Mariposa del Barrio. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me what comments you have. Did you watch the series? I discovered it on Netflix, and I've been binging. So many topics, so many issues with family systems, with codependency, with abuse, with pedophilia, with machismo, with patriarchy, domestic violence, infidelity, just so much. There's so much here. Masculinas, having masculine energy, narcissism, sociopathy. I already said codependency, right? Oh my gosh, there's so much here. Dating while having children, picking men. There's just so much here. So this is my first episode that I have provided commentary for. Please let me know your thoughts, and I look forward to reading your comments. Peace and love.